the Rockets are going to get some threes up. You can bet on it. On Friday, Houston hoisted threes like no one ever before in a game in league history. At Sacramento, they put up 50 three-point attempts. It was like the lane was roped off. They weren't allowed to go in there.
And they probably left 10 on the table, too. And ask them.
And it turns out that the 50 tries, most in league history. In fact, they've tried 86 threes their last two games, 36 more last night in beating Portland. And the question is, at 37 per night attempted, and they're at 38%, so it's not like they're not making threes. Is it a strategy that can last and sustain, and why? So I present that to you first, Mr. Fox.
Well, I would say yes, because Mike D'Antoni keeps getting hired. And so people subscribe to not only the entertainment value of it, but his system is successful. I mean, it wins games considering that the personnel lines up with the strategy, right? And what he has in James Harden, along with this guy, Eric Gordon, and Ryan Anderson and Trevor Ariza, are three-point threats that understand how to run the floor, space the floor. Capella fills in for Dwight Howard. The pieces fit this style, and so you see the results. I think they're either 11 and, I should know this, 4, I think now, maybe. But yes, I think it can work. Now, can it win a championship? I reserve judgment. Right now, I wouldn't be the style I would play if I was chasing a championship. But then you look up in the Bay Area and Golden State, and they're 11-6 right now, Houston. But if you look up to Golden State, you go, is it similar? They shoot a lot of threes. They play with pace. But I tell you what they do in Golden State, they defend.
There we go.
They defend. And so you better start there. We were talking about the Heat. What's the only thing the Heat can hold on to right now and the struggles they have? They at least defend, right, which keeps them a little bit above water and afloat. So, look, if the league goes this way and everybody's shooting 53s, I'm sorry, I might have to not watch as frequently as I watch because it's not the style of basketball that I subscribe to.
I look at it, Vince, and just to look at it from this objective, it's great spacing offensively. I love the way they have spacing. The ball moves around, it hops around, and I think everybody is excited to get to the gym, get to practice, get to games. But I think the one thing in all sports, defense wins championships. And I think everybody looked at the Warriors and say they shoot a lot of threes, but run to those defensive numbers, what they were doing. They got better and better. And I credit Mark Jackson for starting that off in Golden State. They defend. They're not the greatest individually, but team-wise, they do a fantastic job. This right here for James Harden, I think is fantastic for him, and I think it's for a lot of the guys. But I think when you start playoff games, best of 7 series, I think it's easy to defend against it because you might not be hot 3 or 4 of those games. And if you're not hot shooting a 3, what do you go to if you're not making a 3 ball? They don't have a lot of guys that can create their own offense. And if they do, they're standing in the corner and you pump fake and you driving to kick out to another shot. And if you miss that shot, you don't have to understand on the other end to be able to win the game. You got to get another stop. So you got to some kind of way put in stops. And they I don't think in playoffs can get multiple stops, take away teams' first and second option, and also be able to shoot a bad percentage and win games. You got to be able to win bad games to win a championship. Win ugly 5 or 6 times throughout this run if you want to win a championship.
Yeah, you shoot 38% in the game, you still should be able to have a chance to win in the playoffs. Look, they doubled down. Their best defense is their offense. They got worse statistically in the offseason when they added the pieces they add. Now, those pieces are very good offensive scorers, shooters, right? But they're not relying. They know who they are. Their identity is not a two-way team. They make effort defensively, but it's all about their offense. And their focus is we're going to outscore you. We're going to try to get into 120s, 130s, and see if you even have it in your tank to live in that high altitude, right? Can you climb Mount Everest of 130 points?
Well, yeah, Rick, you make a good point. So they're 4th offensively, but 25th defensively. They just want to sort of be interested in a little bit of defense, and they think that that's enough to get by. And
but that brings it back to the pace. Right? It's like, can you get to your pace? And that's what playoff basketball is about, right? I'm not going to let you play your pace. I'm going to put you on and make you uncomfortable.
I think also, if you had multiple guys running the pick and roll, so you took James Harden off and you had Trevor Ariza running pick and roll, you had all the other guys, Eric Gordon running pick and roll. One guy dominates the basketball. And I think because of the way the offense is, high pick and rolls or one-on-one, the great teams can frustrate him or take them out of that offense. What's your second or third option, Vince?
Well, that's a great point. And now they're going to face a team in Salt Lake City that actually does commit to defense, a young team that's on the rise. And they're a team that held Atlanta to 68 back on Friday. And here they are, best defensive rating. And look at that, right there. So now the challenge is going to be, is this one of those times when you get maybe that rude awakening and maybe you get that sort of a test being put on the
Well, I mean, I think old school, if I'm playing against the Utah Jazz and I'm a guard, coaches will say, force them into that guy. Rudy Gobert, how many times can you be able to score the basketball over the top from him? And then also, rebounding in defense in the NBA, if you're shooting a lot of threes and 5 guys are standing behind the line, you're getting one shot.
Right, yeah.
You're getting
one and go.
You're in retreat mode.
Yeah, no, the Jazz are doing it the right way. They've grown with their youth and their talent. They've had some additions in George Hill. Stifle Tower keeps getting more and more aggressive in the blocking on the paint. They're protecting that paint for them. This is a young team with a lot of energy. So you're not gonna beat them by outworking them, right? You're gonna have to actually play both ends of the floor. But Utah is doing that as well. So this is gonna be an interesting test for the Houston Rockets.